caught with association.
Yeah. So when I grew up, my parents were always like, you got to watch who you hang out with, because if someone does something bad and the police get them, you'll get guilty by association. But I'm just caught with association. And I don't know. So I always thought about that. So I'm kind of like turning it over to like, you still got to be aware of who you surround yourself with. So
Yeah.
well, I surround myself with.
Yes. Welcome to Caught by Association. Yeah, that's what the name is.
So with me today, I have Kaylee Roberts.
Hello.
Introduce yourself. Or you want me to?
I'll introduce myself. I'm Kaylee, and I do photography. I dabbled in makeup for a few years. My current 9-to-5 is ironworking, but we're trying to ease our way out of that into full photography mode. And what else do I do?
You do music covers.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah.
Like once a year.
Here's the yeah, we'll be a superstar.
It's a lot of music's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It really is. So, and it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I'm learning as I go what I want to fixate on. I think photography is the main fixation for now.
Yeah. So when did you start photography? When did you first get a camera in your hand?
So in high school, I was in yearbook club. And so they gave me a camera to take some photos for some seniors that couldn't afford senior photos. And so they all like came out to my house, and I took some senior photos, and I was like, this is kind of fun. And also my mom took photos a lot, like with her Canon, on like vacations and stuff like that. And I was like, this is pretty cool. So when I graduated, I used my graduation money and my savings of years and years of working to buy the camera that I knew I was gonna keep forever. So I spent a lot of money on it. But it was commitment. I was like, all right, if you're gonna buy a camera, you're gonna full blown like spend some money. So I bought the 5D Mark III. Not sponsored. And then it's been 6 years now. So it's solid. It's been solid from there.
So you kind of experienced, is there anything that you haven't done in photography? I feel like you've done newborn, maternity, couples, engagement, wedding, music, touring.
Yeah, I've tried to do everything. I think I was like, I'm not going to limit myself. There's no reason I should say no until like I've learned, hey, that's kind of, I don't like doing that. And I've enjoyed pretty much everything except for live birth photography.
Click, pass out.
I mean, dude, it was an experience.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like it's another thing I wouldn't even say no if somebody asked me. It would depend.
Yeah.
It would depend, because they asked me to do it and I was like, I've never done this before. Are you okay with that? They're like, yeah, you're our last resort, because our other photographer flopped on me, which is really common for some reason.
I could see them like being like, yeah, I need, not to be rude, but yeah, I need the money. And then like sitting and thinking about like what you're about to go do. And you're like,
never mind.
I need the money.
Well, just in general, I've heard photographers being flaky a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I would never do that to you. Like, unless like it was an emergency.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been like, no, I can't shoot today. Like,
you put the weather. That's the only I'm ever like, you know what? Like we could, but it's not going to be the best photos if we can hold off for a little bit of sun.
Yeah.
Not death and gloom, you know?
Yeah. Well, weddings especially, like anytime like somebody I'm inquiring with a client about a wedding, I'm like, I promise you I'll be there. Like, because they always bring up, well, we had a photographer planned, but last minute they canceled. I was like, what do you mean? Like, so I'm always like a last minute wedding photographer for a lot of people, because I have a little bit more of an open schedule, because I have a 9-to-5 still, and I have to kind of keep free time open for myself, because if I don't, I'll get stressy.
I had to cover so many COVID weddings. I never had that's the lie. I probably had a couple where it was just like oh, someone dropped out, can you help? And I'm just like, sure, yeah, gotcha. But yeah, most of them were because they're sick. Like in a couple of years, I'm just like, yeah, I got you, no problem. Let's just do that.
If I ever have open days, I'm always down to help. Like, it's just finding an open day, hopefully, you know?
So what advice would you give yourself 6 years ago that would have helped?
That's a good question. Like, free photo shoots, limit them. Also, don't underprice yourself. That's like the main thing I would go back and, because like most of the time I've been really cheap for people and they tell me that and I'm like, damn,
Yeah,
should charge more. Like, what? So, and I did a lot of free shoots when I first started, which you almost is mandatory to do because you need to build a portfolio, and that's how you build relationships with people too, because they're like, yeah, well, I got lucky, and most of the bands that I started with, we both were new. So the band was new, I was new, and we grew together. And so, you know, once you are secure in your craft and you feel like, okay, this photo was worth money, start charging. And then definitely do your research on pricing and make sure you're not underpricing yourself, especially taking into consideration your hours of work.
Oh, yeah. Because there's a lot more than just like the shoot. And the other thing I was going to say too is like surround yourself by a bunch of people that are in your area, like as friends, community over competition. It works a lot of different ways. But then whenever your friends are telling you, hey, raise your prices, don't like, oh, no, I can't.
Yeah.
No, that's the point. You're supposed to lose clients.
Yeah.
So you can have more free time while you
Yes. Exactly. That's the goal.
give those clients to a newer photographer that's trying to find clients. You know, they're always going to have cheap.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's a great thing for people to realize. Raise your prices. Because, I mean, I see it all the time. Like, people will pay for, you know, Gucci, and like, that's a little extreme, but like, people will pay for the photos if they want them.
Yeah.
If they want a good photographer, they want a good videographer, they'll pay for it.
So I want to talk about like the difference of the photography industry, which covers like everything except for music. Because I feel like the music photography industry is its own monster. I originally, like whenever I was a wee little Maggie, I was like, I want to be a travel touring photographer.
Yeah.
And that's going to sustain my lifestyle. No.
That was my goal as well. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, when I was in graduating high school, I was 17, 18, I don't remember. But obviously that mindset was like, yeah, I'm gonna tour with bands and it's gonna be great. I'm gonna travel and do photography. Bands are broke. Like,
Yeah, music's expensive.
and I get it because I do music too.
Yeah.
So I try to work with bands on pricing. I mean,
I think it's all about like what you talked about before. Like when you're starting out in music photography, it's all about like getting lined up with bands that are just starting and growing with them.
Yeah.
And eventually, if that one band succeeds and you're already networked with them, then they'll be able to throw you a bone whenever they have money.
that's kind of how me and Discrepancies worked out too. Although they've been a band much longer than I've been a photographer.
Yeah.
And they're doing really well now. And I just got done touring with them. That was awesome. They're really good people. And yeah, I gave them some free shoots up in the beginning. And then, you know, we have mutual respect for each other. So
Yeah. It's almost like, I don't know, it's all about strategic, I think, giving stuff away. Because like, I always say I value things other than money sometimes. Me too. Sometimes I'll collaborate or do stuff with certain people that I know will get me connections with people that I know I can make money off.
exactly. Yeah, I knew working with Discrepancies recently. So touring. So obviously, so when the tour popped up for them, they were touring with bands that I really enjoyed. So I was like, y'all gonna like let me join you guys on tour or what? And I was like, I'll do it for free. No, but they were like, we're gonna still pay you, but you know, it wasn't sustaining pay.
No.
But it was worth it to get out. First of all, if you ever tour, if you ever tour, get business cards, and you're going to be at the merch table, because if you're touring with a band, you're going to be on the merch table with them probably. So I personally printed out business cards, and I printed out prints of the band, like, that I'd taken for promos for them. I sold prints, and I gave out my business cards to all the bands that opened, because so the bands that were on the tour, I did get like one paid shoot from them, but there will be locals that will hop on these tours, and at least two. I mean, just hand them out. Like, your business cards are important. I have a QR code on mine that has all my links to all my stuff. And at the beginning of the show, when everybody's loading in, and you're loading in merch, and you're loading in instrument stuff, just connect with as many people as possible. It's so important to go up to people and introduce yourself. I know I've like very much busted out of my bubble, because when I first started photography, I would literally go to shows, take pictures, and leave. Like, even if the band was gonna like pay me, we would text over social media. They'd be like, "Hey, we're interested in like a shoot," and I'd tell them my pricing, and they'd pay me over Venmo, and then I'd go to the shoot, and be like, "See you there," and then I'd go to the shoot, take pictures, and then leave, and like never introduce myself to anybody, because I was just that person. And now, like, I'm very much broken out of my bubble. And so yeah, the openers for the tours, I would go straight up to them and be like, "Here's my business card. My name's Kaylee. If you need like photos tonight, like, here's my pricing, and just let me know. I'll be around," you know?
Yeah. And I feel like that's way less car salesman-y than like, because Jordan's in a band, and they play a lot of shows that have other like videographers that are on tour with those bands. And they do the strategy of like going through the event page and then messaging through Facebook, and then having this kind of stale, emotionless sale through Messenger. And I mean, that could work. I do have some that way, but I think it's way better like in person, and they see your energy, and they're like, "Okay, that chick looks cool.
Yeah,
So you do."
yeah, for sure. And I don't know, it's all about hustle. Like, even the guys in Discrepancies were like, "Dude, you're hustling." I'm like, yeah, if I'm on this tour, I'm gonna try to make some money and get out there, because I'm in other states I've never been to before, like New York. Like, people in St. Louis don't know who I am. People in New York definitely don't know who I am. Like, I need to like pass out cards, at least get them to follow you on social media. And it was crazy, because the bands that we were touring with, I grew up listening to.
So you're just like,
I'm fangirling right now. And actually, they all ended up following me on social media, which is like,
it in the world.
yeah.
I will say, look at it as like, you did it. You did it. Proud.
Yeah, it's so cool. Like, if I would have told myself that when I first started photography, or even before I started photography, when I was listening to those bands, she'd be like, "Wow, that's sick."
Have you ever gotten imposter syndrome? Yeah, like, how do you ever get imposter syndrome, or like deal with like you can feel yourself like purposely not allowing yourself to like do what you know you can do? Or
yeah,
I have that. Like,
yes, sometimes.
yeah.
I think,
You ever like, how do you like jumpstart out of it?
it's almost, I don't want to say it correlates with depression, but it kind of does.
It's absolutely, that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's because, like, I'll get days where I'm off work, my 9 to 5, and I'm like, I need to do something creative today. But I'll end up just, like, getting so overwhelmed with other things I have to do that my creative blood doesn't start flowing, and then I just sit in my room and do nothing. And it's like, then you feel even worse. You're like,
Yeah.
man, why did I just do something today? Like, because when I'm at work, it's terrible. When I'm at work, working my 9 to 5, my creative blood is like flowing like crazy. And it sucks, because I'm like, I feel like I'm stuck here. I get so mad. I'm like, man, I ain't doing nothing for myself right now. I'm just like working for the man. Like, I hate it. And then I go home, and then I'm so exhausted that I can't do anything creative. But
It's all about seasons. I feel like you're in your money making season, which will help provide for a better photography season.
I feel like I've been in my money making season for way too long.
Like, you're real good at money making, I feel like. I see like you set a goal and then you achieve it and you're like, okay, what's next? New goal. We're getting it. Okay. So
I try, but social media makes it look much easier and better than it actually is. It's so hard. It's a struggle.
yeah, I have that issue too a lot. I feel, I don't know if this ends up in the edit or not, but there's so many people that'll come up to me and they'll be like, oh, I wish I had your life. It's so great and glorious. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, you don't even know the half of it. Like anything. Like I put a really good facade up.
Me too.
It's a beautiful life through social media.
Oh, yes.
But over here, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Doing a podcast. All right, that sounds good.
But yeah, I feel that. Everybody thinks my life's so great. I'm literally working like 70 plus hours a week, dying inside. I'm like, when will I get a break? When is it? And then I get pissed off about the government. And then I'm like, what? I shouldn't even be working this many hours. Like, what is... It's wrong.
You'll click one day and then you're like, I did it. I'll get that message. That's my favorite thing in the entire world, especially like my photography friends, like Chelsea Logan. She's one of them. Who else? There's a couple other people where they used to have like a good, like you, a good paying 9 to 5. I'm like, do it. You could do it. And you just have to do it. Like, it's a scary job. The only thing that I always like can't like talk people into is like if you get insurance through your job or not. Like, I'm lucky enough to have Zane and now have like insurance that way, and I've never had that life before. I went like 3 years without it, and now I'm like, go to the doctor's office, I'm like, here's my card, and they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like,
that's the thing. Like, insurance is such an important thing to have, and I realize how lucky I am to have the job I have now and have the insurance I do. My insurance is really great through the ironworkers, as it should be, because it's a dangerous job.
yes. I wish our government was different. We could go on a whole tangent about that.
We definitely could. That's another episode.
I think about that as a shower a lot. I'm like, you wonder how many people would have small businesses to be able to do what they're talented at if there was insurance like available. I know, but yeah, no. Maybe when we're 50 years old, we'll see that for like the next generation.
Yeah.
They'll be like, yeah.
I'm glad you got to live the life I never got. No,
No, we can't be like, my mom talked about that all the time. She's like, you guys are so free as women. And she's like, I feel like that's why a lot of older women are kind of mean or snootier to me. Because I couldn't even have credit cards. Yeah, I was like,
look at all that.
Need no men. Like, being breadwinners, like,
take it back. Take it back. I want to stay in the kitchen and No, I mean, it's a good thing to have the option. But now we don't, it's almost a flip-flop now. We don't even have the option to be in the kitchen anymore because there has to be a dual income household because of how the economy is.
So you work, I feel like the music industry is male-dominated. Ironworking industry is definitely male-dominated. How do you carry yourself confidently without being disrespected or like people looking at you as lesser?
So it's such a big ordeal. Like, I could talk for hours on this because there's so many horror stories. So when it comes to ironworking and welding, being a woman in that industry, for the most part, men are intimidated by women because they know we can weld better. It's just because, well, it's not always true, but it's just because women are so detail oriented. And they say we're more patient. I'm personally not more patient. But I think because of the art side of me, like, welding is easy for me.
Yeah.
As far as, like, carrying myself, if you have to be very, you have to let things go. Let's just say that. Because guys are going to say stuff, and they're going to be nasty. Like, they're men. Like,
yeah.
They're gonna comment on your ass, and they're gonna comment on you because you're a woman and there's one of you and there's 10 of them. And it's unfortunate, but like when it comes to reporting those kinds of things to where you're supposed to report them, it's kind of sad because it's something that needs to change. Because if you report something to what's it called?
HR.
Or whoever's, you won't work for that company again.
No, it's easier for them to get rid of you than deal with the disgruntled employee. Yeah.
So yeah, it's still a changing thing that needs work.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm still working with guys. Like, I'll meet a guy and he'll be like, "This is the first time I'm working with a woman," and it's 2023.
Yeah.
Like, what? He's like, "I've never worked with a woman before."
Just like whip out a like sheet of gold stars and like put it on his helmet. And be like,
Congratulations! You worked with a woman today. Like,
you get your Girl Scout badge.
it's crazy because like there's a lot of women in the iron workers, and it's crazy that men still haven't worked alongside a woman before.
At least they're not like, I've like, not to like man hate or anything, because I've also had this like with women photographers too, but more or less it kind of hurts a little bit more with men because I'm used to women being kind of catty. But whenever a male photographer like on a wedding day sees me, and I like know it's a little bit of intimidation.
Yeah,
especially when I was younger. When I was like 16, they would be so pissed that this like little girl is here getting like as much as him.
Yeah, like, how did you book a wedding at 16 years old as a woman? It's almost like that's what's, I'm not gonna say that's what's going in their head, but
yeah, you can feel the energy. Like, other than have to tell me that's what they think they thought, you know. I'll be like, okay, that makes sense, but
because it's an achievement,
yeah,
and they might be a little jealous.
But yeah, it happens more or less than that. Like, being, especially you're still young.
Yeah,
I don't get to live that life anymore. It's accepting my age.
Not only like as a woman is it hard for me to work with men sometimes, but being a young woman is hard because you just don't know what to expect. I've heard horror stories. Personally, I haven't really like gone through anything too terrible. I mean, besides like basic boys will be boys, like commentary, that you just have to ignore.
Yeah. But yeah, I always figure too, like, this is my outlook on any type of bad negative energy that gets thrown your way. I just don't acknowledge it and put energy towards it, because sometimes those people are looking for a reaction.
Exactly.
That it fuels their fire.
Exactly. That's exactly.
I didn't hear what you just said. If they try really hard again, then I'm gonna look at them like they're real stupid and still not respond.
And honestly, it sucks because like people talk about, oh, you're in your masculine, you're in your feminine. It's true that I have to be in my masculine a lot of the time in my life, because if you're not, you're gonna get walked all over. You have to be mean sometimes. Like, you have to be, not that being masculine's mean, but like you have to stand up for yourself, and you have to almost like get back at them. I don't know, like, or people will walk all over you and take advantage of you.
You'd be witty, have a couple jokes, you went right back, make them laugh a little bit, distract and move on, you know?
Yeah. I mean, otherwise, like, no, I don't really have issues. Like,
no.
Most of the time I get along with a lot of the guys I work with.
That's good. I figure it's like, not that many new people all the time, and they work with the same people a lot, so.
Yeah, it depends, because I put projects. Yeah, I move around a lot, but it's also another thing that's caused me to come out of my bubble, because you have to come off as a fun person and a smiley person, or they're going to be like, she's a fan.
Yeah, no, that's it's a better way to live life, I guess, like to be memorable as being positive.
Yeah.
Bring a little joy to their sad.
And most of the time, they're not going to bug you if you're like that either.
No, and you're all there to make money and work.
So. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, no, so you don't have any bullies we have to beat up or not.
No, not yet. I'll take care of them though.
Yeah, you're big bad. That thing was telling my mom. I was like, yeah, we might go out and shoot, but don't worry. Where we go, we're both scary motherfuckers.
Yeah, we are, and handle ourselves.
We got the tattoos.
I go to the gym regularly too. Like,
I go to the couch.
I have to though, because I have to keep up with men. Guys could never touch the gym in their life, and they would still be way stronger than me.
Yeah,
like, it just is how it is. Like, and that's the main thing. Like, it's well known. We know you're stronger than me, but that's That doesn't mean I got better ideas than you.
How often do you have to use your strength in iron welding
Um,
or iron work?
it depends on what I'm doing. Because if I'm tying rods, which is a different section of ironwork, there's structural and then there's rebar. Rebar, you have to be packing like bars back and forth on your shoulder, which you could. It's still not a big deal because you're always usually paired with a partner.
Yeah.
Or you just pack what you're comfortable with. Nobody's really like, oh, you can't carry that. You're,
Yeah.
But, and honestly, now with the safety regulations that they have, nobody's supposed to be lifting more than 50 pounds by themselves, which is,
Say insurance.
yeah. No. So it's really not a big deal to not be strong.
That's good. That personal reason you're like, I'm going to keep them.
Yeah. Yeah. I won't keep up with the boys. But
Heavy camera to lug around.
yeah, true.
The battery pack.
Yeah.
I'm going to check. Speaking of battery, I'm going to check this real quick. It'll time work. And I'll be like, wow, see, look, 14 minutes again.
Damn.
Breaking my feet. I'm an old woman now. I've come to realize I'm no longer young. I used to be so proud of being young and being in the industry, and now I'm old and have a team that does work for.
That's cool, though. That's so cool.
So what's the ultimate goal? Obviously, 100% into your own thing. That's what you want.
I would love to make full income with photography. And if I really got what I wanted, I would start a band. But let's be real, like even bands that are doing really well are not doing it full time.
No.
Especially metal bands. It's just not logical. So I've kind of like scratched that out of my mind to try and like that's not saying don't follow your dreams, but like you have to be logical sometimes. I can still put out covers and sing online and post all that and have fun with it. I think it's going to be more of a hobby for me, and the photography it's more versatile, so I can make more money off of it than music. But yeah, the ultimate goal, I would love to get where you're at and have a team doing a lot of my work because
then you'll have free time to be in the band.
Yeah. And then I can take pictures of the bands that are touring with me and stuff. No, I don't know.
We're going to figure it out. I'll also do this whenever it's like manifest.
That'd be so time. Remember?
You didn't think it was going to happen?
5 years ago.
2 years. I'm giving you
2 years.
That's been the Band-Aid. My friend, no, I'm joking. You're young. You got time.
24 years old. I would be 25-ish.
I feel like I just went to LDB and I was super pumped to getting to see like Dying Wish and then what was the other female? I completely forget the other one, but two, I think, younger chick lead bands. And I was like,
it's so inspiring.
Yeah, I think you could do it easy.
It's so,
you got the connections.
But it's so inspiring to see live female-fronted metal bands. Like, when you go to a concert with a female-fronted band and everybody's into it, you're like, dude, this is so cool.
It's harder than some of the other guys.
That's what I'm saying. Dude, I feel like if I start putting out constant covers on TikTok, I could do really well. But because it's something that not a lot of people see, it's still really new to metal community. I love it.
I think about like how videos changed over social media in a long time. Because like back in the day, you posted anything with another person's song on it, copyright stricken, jail.
Scared straight to jail.
But now I'm like, I still have that kind of fear in the back of my head, but then I'm like, oh shit, Reels wants you to use, or Reels and TikTok, all this other thing wants you to use other people's audio as long as it's there. And I'm like, so this unpotential or unused potential. Like,
yeah, it's crazy.
And then I use a brand, or I have a brand, and it's like not aligned with who I am as a person. So I'm like, I want to use all this hardcore music, but would scare the shit out of half of my followers.
Okay, so speaking about that, when I first started screaming, I was so terrified to release anything to the internet with me screaming. I thought people were going to be like, that's weird, like, you're weird. Like,
you are weird.
You embrace it at this point. So, like, I was so terrified. So I made a separate account on TikTok of my screaming vocals because I was scared. I was like, that's another thing I would tell myself when I was younger. Like, who cares? Who cares? Because I grew up in church, and like I feel like obviously metal's not really invited, although I did although my first metal song was introduced by my youth pastor, which was pretty sick. Like we listened to metal in youth group, but like it wasn't accepted to a lot of the people I knew. People was like, you're going straight to hell because you're screaming, and
They didn't go to Winter Jam.
yeah. Skillet, have you ever, yeah, people still think Skillet's like evil. Well, it's just so wrong. Like, anyway, um so just and people I grew up with in school, I cared way too much about what they thought. They're gone. They're long gone. I've moved to a different state. Like, what does it matter? Just scream on the internet. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Do you. Don't worry about who's around you. Because, like, the sad truth that I've found out, I don't know if you've experienced it yet in your little baby years, but I've come to the big realization around 25 that, like, there's just chapters of people. Sadly, you get, like, some people are for a long time, that's for sure. But, like, some of them just come and go, and the ones that need to be around you whenever you're doing you, they'll be around you.
Yeah.
Do you, boo? Like,
It's true.
don't be scared. And if
Shouldn't be scared.
I feel like sometimes, like, back what we were talking about, like, self-doubt or imposter syndrome, I'll get it. Because I know my potential. I'm a really, I guess, entertaining person. I feel conceited saying this kind of shit. Like, this whole, right? Yeah. I want just a specific podcast, but the whole thing, I was like, I don't even want to call it a podcast because I feel like it boosting my own ego, and I don't want to be like that. But then I'm, like, refraining from showing the world, like, my best self. And I keep on dampening myself because I'm like, that's too full of myself to put it out there. But yeah, just is fucking myself over.
It's true. Don't dampen yourself. Like, I've even, like, recently, I'm like, man, I don't want to, like, dye my hair anymore because it brings up too much attention to myself. It's like, no, why would you care? Like, just do you, and it'll all fall into place, because, like, you can't just not, in the world we live in now, nobody cares what you're doing. Like, they're so busy with their own lives, they're not even thinking about you, and having, like, anxiety all the time. You're constantly thinking, oh my gosh, people are looking at me, people are thinking I'm weird, blah, 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 blah. Just constantly having that, like, I've had to reteach myself, nobody cares what you're doing. Like, if you're going to the store and you're shopping and you're like, oh gosh, somebody's gonna think I'm weird, I've touched my hair too many times. Oh, that's me personally. I don't know if anybody else experienced that, but nobody is watching you. And the gym especially. I go to the gym, and I had to. A lot of people don't go to the gym because they're like, I'm gonna get stared at. Like, everybody's in their own zone. Nobody cares what you're doing.
But the shows, concerts and everything like that, I'm the one that's hyper aware of my head banging because I'm like, what if I'm off beat? Dude, me too. Oh my god. Is someone gonna catch me and be like, this person doesn't know what the fuck the beat is?
And then everybody else is just enjoying their time, and you're like, why do I care? Like, no, at shows especially, like, am I standing too awkward? Like, what do I do? Like,
I'm looking as scary as I possibly can. To me,
don't approach me. Like, I am a threat. Like,
yes, you're my bestest best friend, Evie. And then I'm like, oh, Danny tells me that. You know, someone's like, you
resting face. Yeah.
That's the worst, because, like, I remember when I first started shooting shows, especially, like, in the hardcore metal scene, like, it is kind of like you act harder in that place, and there's so many people I was so intimidated by, and it being, like, my best fucking friend.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like, so don't be scared to talk to people.
Yeah.
Just if I'm into something nice, be like, I like your
True. I just started doing that, like, going up to people I don't really know and, like, complimenting them, because it makes your day. Or just just approaching people, because, like, I feel like we've really strayed away from that because of social media. So, like, I was in the gym the other day, and I saw a girl walk in with boots and, like, a neon shirt, and I was like, oh, she's probably on the trace. And then she went to go change and, like, get in her gym attire, And I approached her later and I was like, hey, are you in the trades? Like, and she's like, actually, yeah. And like, we had a conversation about that. And it was a new encounter with a person. Like, people need that.
Yeah. I feel like whenever I have like a positive interaction with a stranger, I'll think about it for the rest of the day. Like, and then I'll probably be like, you know what, I'm going to try and give that kind of energy to someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
And especially at weddings, I'm a true believer of karma, like 100%, top of mind always.
Yeah.
And I'll be at a wedding day. And this is why I'm so good at my job, is because I'm complimenting everyone all day. I'm like, every dress that I even look at, I'm like, you look good today. I always compliment people. I love it. Good karma. Even if it doesn't come back my way, it puts like good energy out there and makes people smile.
Yeah.
Feel a little bit more confident in their dress.
Important because this world is shitty. Like,
especially, I don't know, wedding days. Me, I don't like dressing out. I saw my mom today and she's like, that's your dad. And I was like, hold up. You fell in love with that man. So in a way, you like this outfit. You think it's hot.
Yeah, no, my mom's the same way. She's like, you need to be more feminine and wear dresses. I actually wore a dress today. It's a t-shirt dress. And it's very, I don't know.
It's cool. We'll insert pictures from our photo shoot later.
But my mom's always like, you need to dress more feminine. I'm like, Mom, I'm trying. Like, I literally look like a young boy most of my life because of my job. Okay, I don't want to be wearing boots and jeans and a neon t-shirt all the time. I actually want to be feminine, but it's a struggle whenever you work with it all the time, and it becomes comfortable.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. But I feel like now that I put myself in more situations where like it's more appropriate to wear like dressier things, then I have more fun with it.
Yes.
It's less stress. Well, it's funny. Like, so my meatball lives a couple houses down. I take care of her every morning. That was my ultimate goblin mode. 9 o'clock in the morning, and like I crawl out of my house in like pajama pants with like the loudest leggings I have and like a 4X hoodie. I looks like a tent. These people, my neighbors, are probably like, she owns a business.
She's our yes. I love that.
Like, fucking outfit of the day.
Like, people need to be more realistic about their like morning routines. Let's be for real. Wake up out of bed and brush your teeth and do a face mat. Really? You're doing all that every day? I have to wake up at 5 a.m. every day. I'm not waking up at 3:30 to do all that. I literally every day before work, it's terrible because I could be so much more efficient if I woke up a little bit earlier. I literally crawl out of bed. I have usually my work clothes laid out. Work clothes, maybe eat something, but that's it. Brush my teeth and go. Like, maybe 10 minutes before I'm supposed to leave, I wake up.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I've ever known.
Fuck the early morning. That's what Zane has to leave by 6:30 in the morning, so we're up at 5:30. And the only reason he gets up that much early is so he can lie in bed for like 30 minutes. Like, oh, thanks, but I have aspirations of journaling every morning because it helps.
Yeah.
And then I try and have like a checklist each day that I do it throughout the week. It's like one check a week. Oops. And I own my own business. I don't even have to go anywhere and do anything other than take care of me, Mom. But so like, I don't want to have a morning routine. Like, I just want to fucking just like sleep, man, and then wait until the last minute to get shit done.
Yes. Procrastination at its finest.
What do you do in your free time outside of just like sleep, I guess?
Gym. Try to eat good because food in the U.S. sucks. Gardening. That's what I do in my free time. I have flowers. Right now, I'm working on. So my garden last year was really small. It was like a 6x6 little garden. Now it's gonna be like 20 by 30 or something crazy. Garden.
Mini
farm. And then I have sunflowers planted already. And I'm doing a wildflower garden. So I can maybe have a photo op in my backyard.
I bought like a fat stack of sunflowers. Have I planted any of them yet? No, am I running out of time? Yes.
So I actually planted my seeds too early. So
Frost.
no, so I planted them inside in pots, and they were like this tall, and they were like falling over because I didn't get enough sun in my house. So I planted them outside yesterday, and
Guess we'll just see.
we'll see. I don't know if this is interesting or not to talk about, but
It's interesting. And my father-in-law, Zane's dad, he's a real big gardener, and he's got like a backyard that would be in like a backyard magazine. It's like, yeah, it's real fancy. Like,
that's goals.
but he's got a nice setup. He's an engineer too, so he's got the water. Like, you just turn one thing and everything waters. You sit there, smoke.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But yeah, I love being self-sufficient and like can't trust what they're spraying. No offense. Like, I've done like a farming documentary, like a few different farming documentaries, and there's just dumb stuff that the government just makes okay, and it's easier to make profit, and you're guaranteed your crop, and we don't really safe or not.
Preach.
Looking at you, Monsanto, or I think that's
We got hands for you. No. I got hands for the U.S. No. I got hands for a lot of.
the red lasers come through the window.
No, I talk on my phone all the time because they hear us or whatever. I will blow up. No.
If I ever had the opportunity to,
I will blow up U.S. Or never mind. I'm gonna not go that far.
love my local government.
Right. Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah. We can bleep a lot of that stuff out. But
Just like goes to like the cut screen of like the Native American and the color splotches and okay, now we're back. Jesus. All right, we did it. Hell yeah. Oh my God, my leg fell asleep.
do you want to do a closing statement?
Oh yeah, I know where we can. And that was the pod.
You want to do a closing statement? But bye now.
Be safe wherever you're driving. If you're driving, be safe. If you're laying in bed and listening to this, I hope you go back to sleep. I listen to some podcasts to sleep. I hate it because like I'll have a few that I like love and they motivate me, and as soon as their podcast is over, it switches over to the Super Carlin Brothers, and they talk about Pixar and Harry Potter stuff. Like, shit, their voices, they probably got 100 views for me just from Harry Potter. So be sleep to me. You don't sleep to this voice.
There's no way.
I just like
Not you. I'm talking about me. I'm like, there's no way you're fully asleep to her voice. Ew. No.
vibraz. I will thank you for tuning in and listening to me talk to my friends. Thanks. See you next week.